I am an elephant. I do not pretend to be wise. I am simply practiced at being heavy and gentle at once. My world begins with weight, the weight of my body on the ground, the weight of the air on my skin, the weight of time stored in my bones and in the grooves of my tusks. When I breathe, I pull the plain into myself, dust and grass, and the shy sweetness of acacia flowers. When I exhale, I speak the low language that travels farther than sight, a rumble that rolls under the soil and tells my family where to find me. I am large enough to be mistaken for slow, but I am made of distances. I am made of patience. I am made of memory. Morning arrives first to my feet. The earth cools during the dark hours and keeps its last shiver until the sun leans in. I test it, one forefoot, then the other, and feel the small secret vibrations of termites rebuilding, of beetles wagging their small flags. My trunk explores the air like a cautious question. Center eyes, layered, damp from a night that dripped briefly, the iron hint of distant river stones, the buttery note of new calves somewhere west, the ash of an old fire. Wind keeps a ledger of all of us, and I read it. I belong to a nation with no borders. Aunties, sisters, cousins, calves, learning the geometry of walking beneath us. We move in a loose braid across the savannah, the matriarch at the front carrying more maps than any of us. The tiny one, whose ears still fold like soft letters, walks under my belly when the open places feel too open. I let him bump my knee. I let him believe he is steering me. This is the quiet humor of our kind, to pretend to be led by those we are carrying. Water is both a place and a memory. We keep the location of springs the way you keep your childhood home, inside the body, under the tongue. When the land grows stern and the flat light scrapes at our eyes, we walk at night, following the remembered rhythm of the ground, a particular slant of gravel, a hollow drum where the river once argued, the scent of hippos written on reeds. Sometimes the waterhole we reach is only a bruise in the earth, with a single shiny eye. We take turns, we stir the mud with care, we share. Hyenas watch from the edge with laughter too sharp. I bathe not to become clean, but to become more myself. Mud is a second skin, a cool book I write in with my whole body, thighs, shoulder, spine. It records my day, the scratch where a thorn corrected my pride, the slick line where a fish surprised me with a leap, the smear from a trunk full of algae that tasted like a childhood dare. When the mud dries, it peels away small prisons, ticks, burrs, the boredom of heat, and I am lighter, which for me is a declaration of love to gravity. The trees I favor are stubborn and generous, baobabs that keep secrets in their bellies, mopanes that clap their leaf hands in the afternoon wind, as if applauding our survival, acacias that test our manners with thorns before rewarding us. I take bark only where the tree can forgive the loss. I listen to the tiny wet sip under the skin. If the river in a trunk sounds thin, I step away. To eat without listening is to become the wrong size in the world. Sometimes lions try arithmetic with our calves. They do not count well. When we are many, we rearrange ourselves into a single animal with many legs, a war of old patience. I have broken the air with my voice when needed. I have thrown dust like a curtain. I have reminded a young lion that history is a larger stomach than his. Afterward, we go back to feeding as if we were never thunder, because fear should not be allowed to compass into habit. There are other storms besides teeth. The sky sometimes comes down in a white mood and walks across the plain as lightning. We stand in the rain and become rivers. I have felt raindrops drum a rhythm on my back that matched the heartbeat of a calf, still inside her mother. I have watched the first flush of grass explode green out of a ground I thought had forgotten the word. There is a kind of happiness that is not loud, the knowledge that roots are drinking. At dusk, birds collect us. Oxpeckers pick at our hide with a focus I respect. Cattle egrets follow our feet to see what we stare. Once, a lilac-breasted roller fell out of the sky in front of me, as if tossed by a careless god. I cupped it with my trunk, delicate as scooping water, and held it against the warm place near my eye, until it shook itself back into the world. It flashed away, carrying a color I do not have a name for. I kept the space where it had been, as if it were a jewel. Night is not silence, it is editing. The busy calligraphies of day reduced to a few necessary lines. A far leopard commenting on the moon. Insects practicing small violins. Our own feet moving careful through thorn shadows. We speak in infrasounds that stroke the belly of the plane and return with news. Sound at night behaves like family. It leaves, and it also returns. When a calf dreams, his trunk squeaks through 6 futures before he finds the one he wants. We do not wake him. We guard the doorway to his little theater. You ask what I remember. The answer is, everything that tried to become part of me. The old river that changed its mind and moved. The year the fig trees bore so wildly, we could smell them from a mile, and we were foolish with sweetness. The time a cousin died quietly, and we touched her with our trunks as if finishing a sentence together. We stayed until the sky took her scent back into its archive. We broke branches and brought them like clumsy flowers. Even now, when we pass that place, we slow down without deciding to. Grief is a road we lay once and walk many times. You ask what I fear. Not the lion, who has the courtesy of teeth. Not even the drought, which tells the truth too loudly. I fear the tinkering of small, clever hands that do not listen. Metal, but pretends to be food. Fences that teach rivers new, cruel shapes. The humming of the sky, where birds used to write their names. I have seen men with long eyes and hard voices look at our faces and not find faces there. But I have also seen men who hang hives along their fields, so we turn aside, because we do not argue with bees. I have seen a child hold out a plastic bucket of water with both hands and stand his ground, while we drank, while his father watched from the doorway with a different kind of bravery. The world is not one thing. It is a parliament of attempts.